Saturday sunrise, 41 of 52. 41 of 52. The initial thoughts of this book, the preface alone is very powerful, okay, of 48 Laws of Power. I want you to read this book, not because I want you to see it as a guideline, because that's not really what I'm after here, but I am after people understanding people better. And if the better you understand power, the better mom you are, the better husband you are, the better wife, the better coworker, the better cohort, the better leader, the better boss, the better CEO, the better everything, you should read this book. I have seen ill-driven people read this book as a guideline. That's not my goal for you. I just want you to read it so you can actually understand why it is much more important to have power than to have force. And it's helpful to understand components of history. In this book, they use this almost court-based mindset. What it was like to have like court gestures and what they did to create this almost subtlety in their own agenda, and moving that whole thing forward as opposed to abrasive, bold actions that just get you bit in the butt. And this book starts out with this awesome thought that I didn't agree with initially, but by the time I was done with the preface, I was like, oh my God, I must read this book. And it was pretty much along the lines of the feeling of not having power or power over people or events is generally unsettling to us human beings. It makes you feel unsettled. It makes you feel uneasy. And I didn't agree with that statement. I was like, no, I have no desire for power. I really didn't, and I really don't. But as I keep reading the book more and more, I realize something very interesting, that all of us actually do have that need to be fulfilled, okay? So the interesting part about the next piece was, he said, genuinely innocent people carry it and they don't even need to know it. And I believe that part is true, okay? I feel like innocence has a lure to it, that has this like almost naive and lure, like this hopeful light within people who seem innocent. Just think about kids, right? They're generally innocent. They don't reflect on pretty much anything as they're little. We teach them to reflect on their actions as they get older. And if you see like a baby, even a baby, if they want milk and you don't have it, watch what happens for like 25 minutes. I dare you to not give your newborn baby like milk for 25 minutes and see how hard those 25 minutes are for you. And that's not ill-intended. And I think that's what I like about this book, because you can see when there's ill intentions versus when there isn't. And by the time I was done with the preface, I actually put down a book and I started reading the others. Understand, this book is really long, okay? And you don't have to take just like, next 6 weeks or so we'll be on this concept, You don't really have to read it within the 6 weeks, but I want it on your radar and do your best. It took me a long time to read it. And for me, a long time would be like 2 weeks, because I'm intentionally reading to share what I read, right? So to influence and to read. So that I do that on purpose. But it took me like 2, maybe even 2.5 weeks to read it. I did about 2 or 3 chapters a day, and that was hard. It was hard. And I actually got like these pockets of time where like, wow, people are dark. I need to put this book down. One time I actually put it down in the middle of the chapters, and I just went for a run, because I was like, how can a person do this? How can a mom do this to their child? Like, it broke my heart. But that doesn't mean that instinctual feeling for power is not within all of us. Not even, it's a mammalian instinct. It's an animal instinct. It's very fascinating. And as I coach you to read the book, I've already read it, but I am going to try to reread it. I think on Audible, it's like 23 hours long. That's ridiculous. Maybe 24 hours. So like I said, this is going to be one of the longest books I have you guys read. but it will help you understand human nature completely differently. And as I read and I read and I read, I found pockets of time where I just took my brain to a dark space and I didn't like it. But I needed to do that because I did come across as a naive, as an innocent person who was just after power, and people would be suspect of me. They're like, what's wrong with her? Like, where is her hunger coming from? And it was really, if they asked me, I would have told them. I'm like, to see my mom go through what she did, and she, in my opinion, was taken too early from us, to see it, the grace and everything, it is hard not to be impacted by that, especially when you're pregnant, like you're carrying life and you're witnessing death. It is one of the most profoundly shaping and honestly debilitating feelings that there are. I can't explain it in any other way. But as I saw people come to visit her, I saw that they wanted to see her because, she was like that pocket of innocence, which was this creative power that was within her, and she had that ability to bring people towards her, and she never even tried. And as I saw people coming to help her, support her, I saw them putting aside their egos in some ways and truly be in a position of service. And it was a wonderful thing to see all my family step up, all her friends step up. My aunt came from India, it was fascinating. It was powerful to see it. But then it's almost like you have no choice but to create your own metamorphosis. You have to become in line with the new standard. Just like as the pandemic has impacted all of us, this is a new life. This is a new normal. This is a new standard. This is a different style of living. But some principles are in the past, right? Like this court gestures mindset is really where we need to be. We want to be delicate in some ways. We want to be compassionate. We don't want to go power hungry here. We just want to understand that it is all within us and that we can use it for good if we choose to, or it can just be complete evil. It's up to you. But this is really one of the most impactful books there are, and I really urge you to read it, if not on my timeline, then in yours. Okay, if you want to get the book, get it. If you want to go to the library to check it out, check it out. I have done it all. I own it. I first went and I got it from the library. Then I bought it because it was just that good. It gave me perspective in life. I just wouldn't say that I'm still not like the optimist that I always tend to be. I'm just more of a realist optimist. You know what I mean? Control what you can and let go of everything else, and don't let other people impact you. No matter whom they are. They can be a child, a manager. It could be a neighbor. It can be a fierce competitor of yours. It can be an ally of yours. It can be anybody out there that is truly gravitating to your greatness, and I want that for you. I want you to have greatness within your heart, within your soul. But the step one was letting go of the last, letting go of the past that holds you back. Because remember, self-doubt cuts deeper than fear. So if you're after what you want to go after, in my brain, that is how I do it. Without sounding morbid, in my brain, I think, you never know when you're taken. You never know when the world is going to take you, when you're ending your life, right? And people say it all the time, live like it's your last day. But no one really lives like their last day. I live like I have 20 years left, and what am I going to do in those 20 years? Am I going to sit around, or I'm going to impact the entire world by these daily videos? You know what I mean? Or am I going to sit back and just watch the world happen as I live in my own self-doubt, that I feel that I'm not going to deserve what I absolutely deserve, that you feel you don't deserve what you absolutely deserve. Everybody deserves happiness. If you're a Delta, you deserve it. If you're an Alpha, you deserve it. If you're an Omega, if you're any of those, you deserve it. That is my entire point. Okay? You deserve it. Just define who you are now so you can spend time with who you really want to be with in the next 20 to 30 days. I'm giving you guys the entire 6 weeks to read this book. I have never done that. I probably will never do that. Okay? But this is a truly driven and impactful book. Don't let it take you to the dark side and keep you in the dark side, but understand the power within the darkness. It is there. It is real. It is gonna fuel anything you want to fuel. Okay? But then you also have to have that anchor within you, that constant bring you back to the home feeling, bring you back to the constant feeling, bring you back to the light, if you will. And this next few weeks are going to be pretty cool because I have an assessment that is, I'm hoping, going to blow your mind. And it's going to be associated with little bits of this book and a little bits of Letting Go by David Hawkins. So if we've been reading along with when I'm reading and what's going on, you're going to be right on track. But even if you're not right on track, and this is your first immersion with us, okay, the focus of power happens when you feel a little bit hungry. You got to want it to have it, and you have to tell yourself you deserve it. Step 1. And step 2, for me, the best way to generate internal power is feeling hunger. That's why I always do the fast metabolism diet. Haley Pomeroy has beat me to the punch. She's amazing. Like I said, I have a master's in nutrition, but she just got to the app and the application of it faster than I did. So all I can do is hats off to you, girl. What else am I going to do except for hats off to you? But this diet helped me. It helped me understand food completely different than I have ever eaten it in my whole life. And it's stressful and it's crazy. And all you do is think about food. For the first 5 or 6 weeks of it, they're like, oh my God, I got to eat again. Oh my God, this girl's crazy. She's making me eat and this, da, da. First time I did the diet, I failed several times. I kept starting it from day one over and over again, which is true of most women who start dieting. When they fail, they eat more. And then they're like, oh, I'll start fresh again next Monday, So don't do that. Don't allow yourself to do that. Just get through it. So I always say the first week, 65%, 60%. Do your best. Just understand the diet a little bit. That's it. Next week, do it 85%. And then the last possible 4 weeks, do it 100%. Buckle down, get it done. Understand it, okay? And I tell you, the first time I did it, it felt like nasty thoughts about food. I'm like so upset. But then after that, first time I got through it, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to figure out a way to enjoy it. Okay. So now all of a sudden I started using more flavors. I started looking for, instead of an apple, I literally went to 3 stores to find my first Asian pear. And I tell you what, it was stinking delicious. And I made this cinnamon, Asian pear, and peach and, what was the other ingredient? Oh, oatmeal. You just kind of mix it all up, squeeze a little bit of the juice, and I baked it in the oven for 418 minutes. 1 Asian pear, 1 peach, 1 entire cup of oatmeal, little bit of water, and tons of cinnamon. And I had breakfast that I looked forward to eating every Monday morning, every Tuesday morning. Same concept. I could be annoyed by just sitting there having like a bowl of raw cashews every phase 3 morning, or I can make it into an almond joy chia seed pudding that I just enjoy waking up to, and that is what I want for you. I want you to learn the diet and the restrictions and the skeleton of the diet, but I want you to be able to go to a restaurant and order off of it, and I want you to be able to make your own exciting food based off of it. This year, I think I'm going to try to make a chicken chimichurri chili. I'm going to try it. We'll see what happens. But you got to figure out the skeleton of the work initially. That's how you survive. Then slowly you start thinking, once you got the skeleton down, you start thinking about how can I make this a little more creative? How can I enjoy, if this is how I have to eat for the rest of my life, how can I enjoy it? That's how you revive that relationship with food. You start getting more creative. You start focusing on, like different apps that there are, different diets, Pinterest. You would take someone else's, the Saba's Kitchen recipe with the, the one that went viral, with the chicken, and she pushed like maybe 6 or 7, maybe even more, like 20 or 25 uncooked pieces of spaghetti through the chicken and baked the whole thing, and it looked delicious. And I made it. It was really nasty because the parts of the chicken stayed raw and stuck together. But whatever, I figured out a way to make it work. And then you start FMDing every recipe you come across. I will try to FMD pani puri one day. I intend on FMDing mug and bath one day. So like little things like that. You can FMD Thai style. You can FMD Mexican style. You can FMD however you want to FMD. But learn the skeletal processes and hate the process for the first trial of the diet. January, get more creative with it. Like start doing what I did. This is my 26th, 25th time. I don't even know that I'm doing the diet right now, and sometimes last night I had a pineapple teeny, right? But you have to understand, I'm in maintenance mode. If you're trying to truly make a difference, do it 100% to the best of your ability, okay? And slowly, as you get better at the diet, the third time you do it, which is going to be the next September, like August, September time, you are going to master it. And slowly, August, September, and January, we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep our metabolism fast. But any other time, I'm kind of doing, honestly, like a 3-1-2 anyway. I start out, my breakfast is usually a 3. My snack is usually a 3. My lunch is a 1. My snack again after that is also my snack is 2. And then my dinner is 2, right? So it doesn't matter what everybody else is eating. I can make on Monday, Mediterranean Monday. But if it's my time to have a grain, I will eat a grain. If it's not a time, then these guys will get a chance to eat it and I won't. But see, what happens slowly in this style of endeavor is if you've always struggled with weight issues, and let's say you have a daughter, and maybe let's say they're built a little bit like you, wouldn't it be nice to have that solution now for them? They don't have to ever be on a diet if you can just mentally be on a diet for them and just make this habitual change for yourself and for your family. They may not always join, but you do you. And slowly when they see that you are getting these striations and you're staying strong and you're moving and you're looking good, when they're ready to look good, they will, right? It's about you learning you. And then slowly, as these habits are already made now, in our house, every Wednesday is Walk Wednesday. Everything we made is sort of meat and veggies kind of deal. When I try to do it in a vegetarian way, I'll figure it out. I thought I'd be able to do it this time. I am nowhere near the cook I need to be. I will elicit my Latamasi's help for this. But this is how we do it, guys. Whenever we start an immersion, our videos are going to be long, but also because they're explanatory ones, and slowly as we get through this next power phase, this hunger phase, I want you to feel one or the other. I want you to feel hungry and uncomfortable, and I want you to feel power and uncomfortable. And then you want to see that there is a link between the two. Okay, so again, sorry for the extra long video, but this is going to be immersion. This is a long book, y'all. You have no idea. It is going to be a game changer book for you if you want it to be. Okay, so one of the other or two, or do what I'm doing. I'm doing both. I'm going to do the FMD and read the book. So understand that. And let's get aristocratic when it comes to decisions that we're making. Let's understand how history used to do things that were successful, and let's repeat history in a better way, not a crappy way, Let's reset ourselves. Let's focus. A lot of people are moving countries. A lot of people are moving states. A lot of people are starting new jobs. A lot of people are doing new things in their life, a new career that they've never done. This is a great way to start the right way, okay? And this book is truly pivotal. I think at the end of this book, I could easily say I was no longer naive. And I had no idea the power I was attracting to people, the attention I was attracting in my naive mind. I never thought of any of these things as power plays because I was never taught any of these things. But it bit me in the butt, I have to say. I couldn't build the team I wanted to build, because of the mistakes I made. And after this book, I now know in this new location, I will not be making these mistakes that I built last time. And unintentionally did it last time. So I intend on doing better now. Building a better team, doing what I can to be a part of the team, and just being somebody who's truly supportive within the network. I hope you really understand from the length of this video how impactful this book and this feeling of power and hunger can be for you, okay? And to my favorite person right now, Chintan, let's do this together, man. I know it's hard, and I know this is something we can all do, and this is something we all need to do, but let's do it together. It's so much easier to do the tough stuff together, even though we're separate. Love you, my friend.